Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Am I understanding correctly that by law, along with scoops, we're supposed to be receiving alternatives of funding? Is that correct? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
So I'll address that. First of all, we have, as part of the governor's letter, provided that if there are additional revenues, that would be the option for reversing these scoops. I can understand how people may not think that's the alternative that you were looking for. I would say that, first of all, the governor's power and authority to prepare and present a budget is a constitutional power. We believe that part of the budget process is for her representatives and for her personally to deal with alternatives and deal with the Assembly. I would say that in FY18, the alternatives are very difficult and very narrow, so we could easily get into a discussion about what kind of tax increases or program cuts we would need in FY18. So we are here available to deal with you with respect to alternatives. I think you have very capable staff to find alternatives in the budget. I'll leave it at that.
Well, who is it up to find these alternatives? Our staff or you folks?
Well, the governor's presented a budget. She believes that these transfers are reasonable and appropriate. If the purpose of that provision was to require her to endorse unpopular cuts in programs or tax increases, then that's not really, we don't think, where we want to go.
Okay, so I shouldn't be concerned that something isn't being met legally here. This is normal.
Well, we think that the governor has met the law and her constitutional power to prepare and present a budget. We don't want to get into a disagreement with respect to this. If there are alternatives, we could talk about it here if you want. If you want to find $25 million, we could figure out what is it, 1% on the sales tax?
Yeah, I mean, every 0.1% is about $15 million. If you want to go to the income tax, you'd probably have to create a fourth category. $15 million in caseload, if you were going to reduce Medicaid caseloads, probably about 40,000 different individuals being reduced from eligibility. There's lots of alternatives out there, but I mean, education aid, absolutely. But the governor's not going to endorse them because these are the recommendations that we think make the most sense in our current fiscal situation.